So since I'm on a reading spree, I'm gonna read the digestive system from this book. I don't know how accurate this book is because it's really, I think it's old. I think, but that's okay. It has really cool pictures. Um, so and I like it. And if it's wrong, then it's wrong, and I'll just fix it later, because it's probably, I don't know, or if it's really maybe simplified, like maybe it's not at the level that, but I'm just gonna read it, and then I don't know if I'll put it onto YouTube, because that stresses me out sometimes, but it shouldn't, because nobody watches there's I don't get it. It's just for myself to, yeah. Preface. This is bass and treble. I don't want to bring mean time into this, because mean time, it's not the mean time, it's the now time. So, digestive system. People are probably more aware of their digestive system than any other system, not least because of its frequent messages: hunger, thirst, appetite, gas, and the frequency of and nature of bowel movements are all issues affecting daily life. Eating well, along with regular exercise, is one of the bedrocks of good health. Plenty of fresh vegetables and fruit, adequate fiber, and restricted animal fats and salts are simple dietary guidelines that are essential for maintaining the well-being of all parts of the body, particularly the heart, blood vessels, bones, and the digestive system itself. Digestive anatomy. The problem is, if I'm reading this, I cannot have this picture at the same time. I could try to read it upside down. Should I do that? This is zoomed in though, I think. I zoomed it in for no reason. I just wanted the frame to be zoomed in. Whoa. Digestive anatomy. The digestive system consists of a long passageway known as the alimentary canal or digestive tract. I will pronounce words wrong. And associated organs, including the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. The digestive tract starts in the mouth and continues through the esophagus and intestines to the anus. Along its course, food is broken down and nutrients extracted, while waste materials are disposed of. After being eaten or ingested, food embarks on a journey. It can take up to 24 hours to cover a distance of 30 feet, 9 meters, through the various muscular tubes and chambers. The process begins at the mouth, where food is initially crushed and ground down by the teeth during chewing. The resulting ball or bolus of food continues down the throat, pharynx, then travels through the food tube, esophagus, to the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus. It is in the small intestine, chemical digestion breaks down food into molecules small enough to be absorbed into the bloodstream. What cannot be digested is compacted as feces in the large intestine and eliminated as stools through the anus. Food travels through the system by a process of muscular contraction called peristalsis. In addition to the digestive tract, the digestive systems includes several glands. The spit-making salivary glands. That's sort of what prompted me, because I was reading the chaos and everything's out of whack. So, I don't know if it's this one or that one. I don't know, but there's a really cool picture of it on I think the next page. The pancreas, which produces powerful digestive juices, and the body's major nutrient processor, the liver. So I'll go through each one. Or I'll read all the paragraphs first, and then I'll go through each single. The peritoneum. This complex two-layer membrane produces a fluid that reduces friction between organs. The parietal peritoneum lines the abdominal wall. The fused sling-like layers of the visceral peritoneum, known as mesenteries, suspend organs within the abdomen and carry nerves and blood vessels to them. The omentum is a specialized double fold of fatty peritoneum hanging from the stomach. Parotid duct. Tube that conveys parotid secretions to the mouth. Yeah. Well, I think, here, that won't work. It's fine. I'm looking at it right now, so that's good enough. Mouth. Entry point of food to digestive system. Yep. Tooth, tongue, sublingual left and submandibular salivary glands. That's this. I think, yeah. Or is it here? Oh yeah, she's turning her head to the side. It secretes saliva with root, lubricates food, and contains enzymes that start digestion. Parotid salivary gland, that's here. Largest pair of salivary glands. I think that's the one that's fucked up in my head. Pharynx. Passage from the mouth to the esophagus. Epiglottis. Flap of cartilage covering the larynx opening during swallowing. Esophagus. Also known as the food tube. A thick-walled muscular tube about 10 inches, 25 centimeters long that connects pharynx with stomach. Stomach. J-shaped muscular bag that churns, digests, and stores food. Liver. Large organ that processes absorbed nutrients, detoxifies harmful substances, and produces bile. Gallbladder. Stores bile produced by the liver. Pancreas. Secretes digestive enzymes which pour along a duct into first part of small intestine. Small intestine. The major site of digestion and absorption of nutrients. Large intestine. Absorbs water from food residue and forms and stores feces. Appendix. Also called the vermiform appendix. Dead end tube with no significant function in humans. Rectum. Stores waste matter until it can be excreted conveniently. Anus. Short tube-like muscular valve that relaxes to let out digestive waste. That's cool. On the side. Esophagus, liver, stomach, parietal peritoneum, visceral peritoneum. So it's on the organs, right? The visceral. Duodenum, transverse colon, omentum. I don't remember. Jejunum, ileum, sigmoid colon, bladder, uterus, rectum. On this picture. That's the picture. Isn't it awesome? The mouth and throat. I haven't read this page. Teeth. I don't know. Teeth. They're freaky teeth. Teeth. They're freaky. Mouth and throat. The process of digestion starts when food enters the mouth. Food is chewed, lubricated by saliva, and moved about by the tongue. In about 1 minute, the food becomes a soft, moist mass called a bolus. Each bolus is swallowed through the throat, pharynx, and passes into the esophagus. Teeth. There are 4 types of tooth, each of which has a different role. The incisors at the front are chisel-shaped with sharp edges for cutting, while the pointed canines, or eye teeth, are designed for tearing. Isn't there a thing with a tooth, you can put a tooth in your eye and you can see out of it? That's pretty cool. Are designed for tearing. The premolars with their 2 ridges and the flatter molars towards the back of the mouth, which are largest and strongest teeth, crush and grind food. The portion of the tooth above the gum is the crown. The part embedded in the jawbone is known as the root, and the area where these two meet and the gum or gingival surface is called the neck of the tooth. The crown's outside layer is made of tough, bone-like material called enamel, which is the hardest substance in the body. Beneath it is a layer of softer but still strong tissue called dentine, which is a shock-absorbing. At the center of the tooth, the soft dental pulp contains blood vessels and nerves. Below the gum, bone-like cementum and periodontal ligament tissues secure the tooth in the jawbone. So enamel, gum, pulp. I've never really looked into this before, but there's the cementum. I don't know. I've seen the picture of the tooth at the dentist's office, probably too. What am I talking? I'm talking to myself right now. By the way, like this isn't a symptom. Enamel surface. I've kind of forgotten about that now. At this point, I'm just reading. Enamel surface. It's a lot better out loud than in my head too. It's totally better. And I can also then listen to it later. I've said that a bunch of times, but I'm saying it on each time so that if I click on the video, I don't forget what I'm doing. Enamel surface. The microscope image shows enamel, which is a hard material made of U-shaped enamel prisms packed with the crystalline material substance hydroxyapatite. Apatite. I've heard that before, but I don't remember what it is. Did I already show this page? That's the page that... So... Adult dentition. An adult typically has, on each side of the jaw, 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars, and 3 molars. This makes a total of 32 teeth. I don't even know how many teeth you had. However, in some individuals, certain teeth never grow or erupt out of the gum. This applies particularly to the 4 rearmost molars. I don't have wisdom teeth. Oh, I'm not relating it to me. This is not... Oh, God. Swallowing. The process of swallowing begins as a voluntary action when a bolus of food is pushed by the rear of the tongue to the back of the mouth. Swallowing usually takes place after a period of chewing. To swallow a solid item such as a tablet without chewing demands concentration. It is easier to swallow a tablet with water. What is a tablet? What is that? Like, what is that talking about? It is easier to swallow a tablet with water because drinks are usually gulped down right after entering the mouth. Automatic reflexes control subsequent stages of swallowing, and the muscles of the throat contract and move the bolus back and down and squeeze it into the top of the esophagus. A flap of cartilage known as the epiglottis prevents food from going down the wrong way into the larynx and the trachea, where it would cause choking. 1. Pharyngeal stage. 2. Esophageal stage. Pharyngeal stage. Before the food bolus reaches the back of the mouth, the epiglottis is raised in its normal position, allowing free flow of air from the nasal cavity to the trachea. The esophagus is relaxed. Hard palate, soft palate, food bolus, pharynx, tongue, epiglottis, larynx, trachea, esophagus. 2. Esophageal stage. The larynx rises. Where is it rising? Oh, I see. And meets the tilted epiglottis, closing the trachea, and the soft palate lifts to close the navel cavity. Food enters the esophagus and is pushed downwards. View into the larynx. The pale leaf-like flap of the epiglottis is visible at the top of this image. Below it is the inverted V of the vocal cords. Breathe or swallow. The pharynx is a dual-purpose passageway for air when breathing, and food, drinks, and saliva when swallowing. Nerve signals from the brain operate the muscles of the mouth, tongue, pharynx, larynx, and upper esophagus to prevent food from entering the trachea. If food is inhaled, irritation of the airway triggers the coughing reflex to expel inhaled particles and prevent choking. The complex muscle movements of swallowing are a voluntary reflex and also occur when solid matter contacts touch sensors at the back of the mouth. Airflow, epiglottis, trachea. Dual intake. Breathing occurs through the nose or at the mouth. Their passageway meet at the throat, and air flows into the trachea. Anatomy of the mouth and throat. I'll show this picture again. I really want to get to the digestion thing. I'm tired. If only I could sleep. If only I could sleep. I know what would make me sleep. Anatomy of the mouth and throat. The interior of the lips, cheeks, and oral cavity is lined with tough, firmly anchored mucous membrane and a type of tissue called non-keratinized squamous epithelium. Cells here multiply rapidly to replace those rubbed away when biting, chewing, and swallowing. The front underside of the tongue has a fleshy central ring, the frenulum, which connects to the floor of the mouth. The tongue is the body's most flexible muscle. Within it are 3 pairs of intrinsic muscles, and outside 3 pairs of extrinsic muscles run from the tongue to the outer parts of the throat and neck. The root of the tongue anchors to the lower jaw mandible and to the curved hypoid bone in the neck. The rear of the mouth leads to the middle part of the throat, the oropharynx. The whole throat or pharynx from its narrow to laryngeal regions is about 5 inches 13 centimeters long in a typical adult. Nose, mouth, and throat. The roof of the mouth or oral cavity is formed by shelves of the maxillary and palatine bones of the skull, together known as the hard palate. This extends rearward as the soft palate, which contains skeletal muscle fibers that allow it to flex when swallowing. The central posterior part of the soft palate extends into a small finger, the uvula, which can be seen through the open mouth, dangling down from the back, where it helps direct food downward. Soft palate, uvula, tongue, moves food around when chewing, contains taste buds, and helps form distinct words in speech. My tongue doesn't work because all of my words are like teeth bite off and chew food into a moist, soft pulp ready to be swallowed. Nasal cavity, and its rearmost part joins to the nasopharynx region of the throat. Parotid, is it parotid or parotid? I always thought it was parotid, but I don't know. I'm probably wrong. Stenson's duct. I've never heard of it. Opens into cheek lining next to the upper second molar tooth. Accessory parotid gland. Largest of 3 paired salivary glands, produces watery saliva. Salivary glands. Saliva is produced by 3 pairs of salivary glands, the parotids, in front of and just below each ear, the submandibulars on the inner sides of the lower jawbone, mandible, and the sublinguals in the floor of the mouth below the tongue. In addition, numerous small accessory glands are found in the mucous membranes lining the mouth of the tongue. Although saliva is composed of 99.5% water, it also contains important solutes such as amylase, a digestive enzyme that begins breakdown of starches and salts. Saliva lubricates food to make chewing and swallowing easier, and it keeps the mouth moist between periods of eating. Sublingual duct. Sublingual gland produces viscous saliva which contains enzymes. Submandibular duct. Submandibular gland. Mandible, lower jawbone. Epiglottis, that thingy thing that gets to go down the tube. Cartilaginous flap that blocks off the larynx entrance during swallowing. Larynx, voice box, trachea, windpipe, esophagus, food pipe. Salivary gland structure, that's a cool picture. Many small rounded glandularly units called acini, brown, separated by the connective tissue, pink, discharge their saliva into tiny central ducts. Acinar ducts converge to become the main salivary carrying glandular ducts. Liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. I feel like my attention span, I was going to do it to the end of my attention span. My attention span right now, kind of sad attention span, that's what it is. So, I'll turn my attention span off of this to do something else for a little bit, and then I'll probably do this again.